So I've done a lot of modeling of individual objects, or combination of objects to make one thing, like a guitar pedal or a guitar or a cassette recorder or a lighter, binoculars, those kind of things. And it's been a lot of fun, and I haven't done too much of modeling, scenes where I have a number of objects in them. I did a little bit with my book videos, where I made a book and a candle and a bookshelf and that and tablecloth, that kind of stuff. But I want to do something a little bit more involved now. And so in this video, or in this series of videos, I'm going to model like a little hospital, probably just actually two rooms, like maybe a receptionist room and a little surgical room. So maybe it's a very small, on the outskirts of the city type hospital, where people would come into the receptionist. There'd be a couple of items in there, and then just right into the operating theater, operating room. And so I've got a list of some things that I'm going to do my best to model here. So the first thing is going to be to create the floor plan with some walls and some doors and maybe some windows. All right. In the operating room, I'm going to need a surgical bed, so I'll model something along the lines of that. I'd like to have some sinks with each with a faucet and a pipe coming out of the sink and a mirror above it. And I'll probably array those along and have 3 or 4 of those, so the surgeons could wash their hands. I'll probably have that right in the operating room as opposed to out in the receptionist room. It's high tech. Surgery is very high tech, so I'll do some computers and some cables running around the floor. I get into the difficulty of how much detail to put into these things, but I'll put some detail. But it's probably going to be more cartoony than realistic. It'll be actually guaranteed it'll be more cartoony than realistic. I'm going to do some lights. Especially the main surgical light, and we'll see if there's room for some other lights, maybe hanging lights or something like that. Some cabinets of some sort in the operating theater for equipment and lab coats and that kind of thing. I'll try to do a main sort of surgical tray with some tools, maybe a scalpel, forceps, probe, maybe that kind of thing. Anyhow, we'll do some x-ray screens up on the wall to make it look kind of cool. I'm not saying that there will be any actual images of x-rays, but the actual just lighting box, maybe a camera in there, either up on the wall or close to the surgical bed. I'm not sure exactly what I'll do, but and nothing too detailed either. Maybe a rectangle with a cylinder, a little bit more than that. Probably some kind of lab bench, not necessarily with equipment on it, but just something there to take up some space. Some oxygen tanks, or blood tanks, or something like that. Some stuff that looks like an operating room. Maybe we'll have a blackboard in there, so when they need to draw the guy's left ventricle, they could do that. I have a storage room, I think, off of the main operating theater, where they would store various pieces of equipment. I'm not sure if I would fill it with stuff, just maybe shelves, Out in the receptionist area, I'd like to have a couple of plants, so I can use metaballs for that. Maybe some kind of a sofa, a desk with a lamp, or maybe maybe a couple of lamps, some books, a table that maybe the books would be on, or maybe there's bookshelves and a table with magazines, for the patient to read before they go into surgery or whatever. Some filing cabinets, of course, maybe a television mounted on the wall, and some other wall decorations, maybe some other plants or some pictures, or even just a window. We'll see. All right, so there's quite a bit here. It's quite a big project. So I'm just going to make a start with doing the floor plan, and probably throw some doors in there, and then we'll see where it goes from here. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, stick around and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm going to close this down, if I remember how. That, and I'll leave that like that, and move this off to the side, and bring my mouse back. That feels a little bit more familiar. Okay, So here I am in Blender, and one thing I forgot to mention is whether or not I was going to use any materials or not. I've been asked if I would get into some of the node editor, and I am not the guy to ask about that. I could put some very basic materials on, again in the cartoony style, and then I'd be dealing with lighting and everything. So this is really about modeling for me, having fun with modeling, and maybe doing the odd OpenGL render, but maybe I'll put some simple material. So we'll have to see near the end about that. But I am going to switch over to Cycles Render, and I'm going to turn on GPU compute, or switch to that anyhow. I've got my screencast keys on, and I'm in top ortho view. And I think actually before I get started, I'm going to press N to open the side panel, and I'm going to choose matte cap and ambient occlusion, and I'm going to choose this default shader that I like to use for my modeling. I'm also going to turn off the grid floor under display. Right now, that won't affect my grid there, but when I go into some kind of perspective view, it will. Okay, so I'm going to be top view, ortho, and I'm going to lay down a plane to start making the floor. So I'm going to go Shift A, add a plane. I'm recording, everything's recording. Let me double check that here. Good. All right. I'm going to scale this 8 times maybe. Press 8, and that's good enough, I think. And now I'm going to go into edit mode, tab button, and choose edit, or you could do that down here. And I am going to start subdividing this plane. So I'm going to go W to bring up the specials menu, and I'm going to go subdivide, and I'm going to go subdivide and subdivide and subdivide and subdivide. And I think those are going to be rather thick walls, but let me try one more time and see how crazy. Yeah, that's just a bit much. Again, it's not going to be overly realistic, but I'm going to go. I think I'm just going to go with that. Okay, so I've subdivided it the whole time, looking at my vertices and stuff like that. All right, so I'm going to start painting some walls. So I think I'm going to hit the C key. That's going to bring up my sort of paint selection, but oops, escape. I don't want it like that. I want to be in face mode so I can see my little squares. So just imagine this is like some disco floor here, and I'm going to draw the floor plan. So I'm going to do like a little operating theater here, and a little receptionist area over there. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to start selecting the outer walls like this. I hold down the shift and go back over these to get rid of them. I'm going to come down here and over here. Oops. I'm holding down shift. I think maybe there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'll have like a little doorway going in. I'll come up here, hold shift to get rid of that. My mouse is sticking a little bit too. It's been very hot and humid, and so it's causing me to be a little inaccurate, more inaccurate than I normally be. Okay, so my operating theater is going to be in this area, so I'm going to come down here. And I think I want sort of a longish wall here that I can put a window in. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to make it quite large, the main entrance to that. Let's bring this all the way down to there. Get rid of that. And I have a little storage room over here. Yeah, it's sticking, so I'm having some trouble here. If I do that, let's see how that would be. So that would be it for the moment for the walls. Now my storage, I've got 4. This is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's going to be okay. So what I'll do is I'll escape. I've got those selected. I'll go to 1. Some front view, I can go to 3. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to hit E to extrude, and I'm going to hold down Control, and I'm going to bring it up 2 grid units, and let's have a look at that. All right, so here's the little reception area. I'll have a window here, I think. I'll have some big doors here, and my operating room is in here. What I also want to do, though, to make it a little bit more interesting, is I want to have some of these walls a little higher than others. So I'm going to come back to here, and I think I'm just going to scroll along the top here, try not to pick up too many extra polys. and come down here. Yeah, the mouse is really sticking. I guess I'll go this whole room. How much of okay, I might as well just take that and hold down shift and get rid of these. And hit escape, and now I can move. Just make sure I didn't get any of those just on the floor. That's okay. C again, shift, and get rid of those. Escape. I still got my selection. Okay, so let me try that. I'll go back to 3. Hit E to extrude. Hold down Control again, and I'll come up just maybe one more grid unit, and look at that. I think that's kind of what I'm going for. Let's deselect and look at it here. Before we go too far, let's go Control S and save this as, I had another one I was working on earlier. What did I call it? Hospital? Hospital. I'll call this Hospital Video. I usually do that for the video that I'm making, so I know that it relates to the video. Okay, that's okay. That's good enough. Rather thick walls, but no problem. For interest's sake, let's come underneath, and I'll go into edge selection. And the way I'm doing that, as you can see, is I press Control Tab, right? Control Tab brings this up. Or, I mean, you could come down here and just choose edge, but I like to do it here. Okay, I'm gonna go Shift Alt and select that whole edge all the way around. I'm gonna put a face on there, and then I'm gonna hit E to extrude. I'm gonna pull it down just a little bit, and then E to extrude, and I'm going to scale out, not too far. It looks relatively even, and E to extrude, and I'm going to pull it down just a little bit more. It just looks like the foundation of the building or something like that. I just think it looks a little bit nicer. Okay. Is that an issue? No, just the shadowing, I guess, I hope. Okay, so let's save that. Good. Okay, so far so good. So that's my floor plan right there. All right, very simple. Now I'm going to create a big door here. This is the door that you would go through into the operating room. It's going to be a double door. So I'm going to go into edit mode, face selection, and I'm going to select, I think, back. Sorry for this. These extrude, scale in the X direction. Well, that was weirdly weird. I don't know why it didn't do it for me initially. Okay, I'm just going to bring those out just a little bit. I'm not going to do a door here, I don't think. So I'm going to do that. And then what I think I will do is, this is really sticking, is I'm going to take this and this, heat extrude, and I'm going to bring it up a little bit, just like that. Just eyeball it, select that face, and go Control E and bridge edge loops. And let's have a look at that. Okay, and that's going to be my doorway. Actually, I don't think it is going to be my doorway. I want to do it slightly differently. Not much differently, just a little bit. So I'm going to take that back. Once again, selecting these faces, E to extrude, scale in the X, bring them out, and instead I'm going to select all of these, and we'll bridge edge loops on all of that in a bit. E to extrude, bring it up, deselect, take all of these on that side and all of these on this side, and then we'll try bridging edge loops. And I'll see if I like that a little bit better. And you know what? I think I do actually like that better, so that's why I wanted to do that. Okay, now what I'll do is I'm going to create a door, and I think I'll do it by just because that piece is already there. I'm gonna build a door out of that piece. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to go Shift D to copy it, accept. P to make it a new selection. It's right now the copy is part of that model right there, that object. So I'm going to hit P and do that. So when I come out of object mode, I've got my regular floor plan like that. But I've also got this object here. If I go origin to geometry, I can move that out. That's actually, it's the exact size that I needed, except I'm going to scale this in the X to make it thinner like this, and to make my door. I might make it a little less height. I mean, scale it in the Z, just to hold the shift, bring it like that. Just a little bit, actually scale in the Z, I'm going to bring it down a little bit more, so it's not exactly dragging on the ground. Let me select that again. I'm going to edit mode, and I'm going to, in face select mode, I'm going to select this face, and I'm going to go E extrude, and I'm going to bring it out a ways. Okay, let's have a look at this now. I'm going to set the origin back to geometry, so right in the center, and the door would be sort of like there. Okay, let's maybe got a tiny gap down there. Now, yeah. Sorry. Sorry about that. That's what I wanted to do. And so now I could go into here and pull this. The other one's going to pull. I don't want them to clip. I just want them, kind of like that. Good enough. Having done that, I don't need the mirror anymore. I just wanted it for that purpose. Okay? Okay. That was the long way around. Okay. With that done now, I'm going to move this door to another layer so I can work on it. I'm just going to move the origin back to the center. Okay, so here I want to round this. So I'm going to go, I've scaled it, so I'm going to go apply scale, and that will make sure that my bevels will work a little better, or work just at all. Okay, I'm going to select those edges, and I'm going to go Control B, and I'm going to pull back a little bit, and you can see I'm starting to cut it off, and I'm going to roll my mouse up a couple of times. This is, I don't need to do too many, just two, and I'm going to grab this edge and this edge. I'm holding Shift Alt, and it will get the face as well. And I'm going to bevel this, Control B, pull back just a little bit, and add one segment there like that, and that will sort of round things off a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to use a cube to cut sort of a window in this. So I think I will go Shift S, cursor to selected, and that means the 3D cursor will pop to this door. And when I bring in a new object that I want to use to cut my window, it will appear here rather than over here. It just makes it easier. So I'm going to bring in a cube, Shift A, cube. See? Let me scale it down. See? It showed up right there. And I just got to figure out how big I want my window to be. So I'm going to bring this up and scale it in the Y direction. I do want it relatively long like that and up high. So I'm going to do that, but I want this window to be slightly rounded. I don't want sharp edges when I cut. So I've scaled this, so I'm going to apply scale. I'm going to come in and do the exact same thing. I'm going to select that edge, this one, and this one. Control B, pull down, and I'm going to round, add a few segments. And now this rectangle is rounded. It's a rounded rectangle. So when I cut through my door, I'll get a rounded rectangle hole. So I'm going to select my door, choose Boolean difference, and with the eyedropper select the rectangle that I want to use to cut the hole with, and hit apply. Select my rectangle and hide, and I've got a rounded hole through there. Now, if possible, don't move this, I'm going to go into edit mode, and I would like to select these edges all around. I'm hitting a few weird keys here. Okay, on the outside edge there, and this side, in case we look at it on this side, and I would like to bevel this edge so it's not sharp. So I'm going to go Control B, pull back on my mouse just a little bit, add just once, no, okay, I'll do 2 segments, and come back, and now you can see it's rounded a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to go Alt H and bring back this. So H hides the object, Alt H reveals it. I want to take this object and bring it down, and it's rounded, and that causes issues if I don't scale it the right way. So I'm going to scale just in general. I think I'll rotate rotate X 90. Okay, so I have them vertical, and I want this scaling the X a bit. I don't need it. I just want it to dip in like that to create an indentation in the door. And I've rotated, so I'm going to apply rotation and scale. And let's see if I can mirror this with respect to the door right across. Okay, so there it is. Can I do it on that side too? Because that's really what I would like. I hope it's not too far in. We're going to give it a try. I'm going to hit apply. And what I want to is a Boolean on the door with these to cut into the door. So I'll show you. Select Boolean, difference, select these, hit apply, select them again, and hit hide. So I've got indentations there. I've got indentations there. Now, is it worth trying to bevel these? It's always worth trying. Select the edge all the way around. Don't get any other points. Let's do this side as well. Okay, so it looks like I've got it all. Let's give it a try. Control B, pull back gently. I'm just going to put one segment in. And I get a bit of bevel. It'll catch a little bit of light, okay, instead of being straight. That's good. I want one more thing. I want like a little handle type thing, but I need to figure out, just to double check. This is the side where I want the handle. Okay, so the side I'm actually looking at. So I'm going to Shift A and bring in a circle, rotate Y 90, bring it out a little bit, scale it down, bring it over, and what view am I in? Well, it doesn't matter right now. Let me just bring that closer. Let me see, is that 3? No, it's okay. I got to remember that it is the back side of 3. So 3 is the right side, it is the left side. Okay, so if you do 3 and I'm looking at something and I want to go what's exactly on the other side, I just go Control 3. All right, and it says right up here it's the left side. So okay, so what I'll do with this is I'll go into edit mode and vertex selection mode and box selection, and I want to box select all those and delete those vertices, select them, that's A to select, Shift D to copy, and the copy's right there. So now the x-axis is coming out at us, so I want to rotate X 180. And I'm going to move these down like that. And I'm going to select these two vertices and hit F to make a face, and these two, F to make a face. Deselect, select all, and hit F to make an overall face. And then I'm going to go E to extrude, and I'm going to come out this way. Okay, I'm just going to use this to cut another indentation into this door. But first I want to make sure all my polys are facing the right way. So I'm going to select it all and go Control N. And they were. Now, yeah, let's just do this. Let's go origin geometry. It's not important, but let's just push this in here like that. And I should be able to mirror this as well. Oh, with respect to the door. What happened? Which one do I want? That one. Okay, so I've done it there. Hit apply. Okay, now I want to do a Boolean again. So select the door, Boolean, difference, and select that. Apply this and hide. And I've got a little indentation. I am going to try to bevel that as well, as you might have expected. And good, my selections are going well. I'm not having any problems selecting just what I want. Okay, so here we go. Control B, pull back just a little bit. It's a bit warped up near the top, but I don't think it's going to be visible. So I'm going to do that. Right, such a small detail, but just gives a little bit. I think I'm going to go Alt H and select this and this, and let's delete them now. It's done. Let's take this door and move it back to the first layer. Look at the first layer. Slide the door in a little bit more. Decide if it's on the floor, close enough to the floor. Okay, it's looking good. So let's just go Shift D, move the other door here, and rotate around the Z 180, and move it position like this. I do want a little bit of a gap though, so it looks like 2 doors. Okay, and it's not touching that side, so let's bring it in a bit more and see if this one can come out a bit more. That's fine with me, I think. By the way, if I do this, not sure I needed to do that. I might want them a little closer. What about that? And they kind of look closed. Okay. That's cool. That's good enough. All right. Let's create a little window here so you could look into the operating theater. That'll be kind of spooky. The patients are all out here looking into the operating room, but let's do it anyhow. Shift A, we will create a cube. It will pop in there. That's no problem. Scale it down in general, like this. We'll bring it up a bit. Bring it over, and we'll scale it in Y. Let's zoom in on this. Nice and long. Scale it in Y again. Sort of like that. Okay, it is coming through, but let's make it a bit like that. Let's go Object, Apply, Scale, and let's round it. Choose that edge, this edge, this edge, and this one. Control B to bevel, pull back, add a few segments. Just like that. We just need to round just the corners, not these parts here, because it's punching a hole. Okay, select the room, Boolean difference, that, apply, and hide, and we've got a cool kind of sci-fi kind of window. I don't know if I'm going to leave it as a whole, because I might want to do this. Alt H to bring it back, scale in the X direction. I lost sight of it. Let's go into wireframe so we can see how thick it is. See, it's still pretty thick. Scale in the X. I may actually want it as a bit of a window itself. Now that's a bit of a thick window, but when you're looking at it like this, it doesn't look so bad. I might prefer that look for now and leave it in there. We'll see. Okay. Let's do some kind of this little box up here that would be like the, like an exit sign kind of thing. This would be like, do not enter or something. Just something really, really simple. And what I'll do for that is I'll bring in another cube, scale it. Okay, so yeah, okay, we're gonna have that kind of issues. We can't really see that well unless I get rid of the room. That's all right. So we're just going to do this kind of thing. Scale it in the X, scale it in the Z, and then in the Y. It'll be like that. And Object, Apply, Scale, Edit Mode. Well, for this one, I could just bevel the whole thing, applying the bevel modifier. I could just do something like this. I might want that on a stand or something. It's not a big detail. It would just be there. Let's leave it for now and see what happens with it. Okay, if it's jumping around, it's because my mouse is still sticking. All right, let's create another door for here. Maybe a different door. Let's look at a normal door. Let's have a look at what I can do here. I may not want to do the top part. Maybe I would. Let's see, face and face. Well, maybe I'll do this. Extrude. Bring these up just a little bit this time, and we'll do the edge, the bridge edge loops for that. Control E, bridge edge loops, and let's see what that would look like. Yeah, that would create that effect, eh? Be a different height. Nah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I think I'm just going to put a door in here. All right, and you know, you don't have to do it by creating it out of a piece you already have. You could just go Shift S, cursor to selected. Let's put the 3D cursor there, and then let's come out of the object, and let's just bring in a cube if that's what you like. Scale it in the X so it's as thin as the door you would want. Let's say scale it. No, let's not scale it yet. Let's say it was going to be that big. It's a big door. Oh well, it's an operating room. It's got to be a big door. I don't really want double doors. Do I? I don't want double doors. No, that's just going to be it's just going to be a door. Okay, let's move this to the second layer. Oh, so we can work on it. Let's zoom in on it, and let's go Object, Apply Scale. Select the outer edges. I guess I could use just the bevel tool, the bevel, you know, plug in the modifier on this, but I'm just used to doing it this way. A few segments. Select, Alt Select, or Alt Shift Alt and select both sides. A bit of beveling. One segment done. Okay, and Shift A to bring in a circle, rotate Y90, bring it out, scale it, make a doorknob of some sort. Let me make sure it's on the right side. Yeah, that's where I'm going to want it. Okay, but maybe not too close to there. Here we go. Edit mode, F to make face, E to extrude. Reasonable distance, Control B, pull back quite far, roll your mouse up quite a bit to round it like that. Select the back face, hide inset, pull it in. I think I need to do more. Scale, Shift X. All right, because I don't want to scale it in the X direction, just in the Y and Z. E to extrude and push it back to make it as a doorknob. You know, remove the faces if you want. I haven't been doing any of that. It's really a small detail, but you might want to bevel this edge. Control B, pull, and put in, I don't know, 1 or 2 segments. No one's ever going to see it. Push it back to the door. Smooth it if you like. Move it over. Put one on the other side as well. Okay, let's go back to this layer. Mirror with respect to the door. Apply. Join. Now that's gonna, yeah. With the smoothing, I thought I'd have an issue. Let's move this back to the first layer. Yeah, okay. Well, we're gonna have this door open, I think, anyhow. So I got my 3D cursor over against the wall. I could probably use that if I change my pivot point to the 3D cursor, and then I rotate the Z. I just have to do, you know, minor adjustments so that it looks like it rotated normally. Does that look like it's digging into the wall too much? Is that all right? Looks a little bit odd being the same height. I may want to reconsider this. What about if I took all of those? Let's just try it. Bring this up and just bridge edge loops on these. We'll see if I like that at all. You know what? I do like the way it covers the top of the door better, and I hope this piece here doesn't cause a problem. I might put a pipe up there. So I think I'm going to go with that so far. All right, whatever. How are we doing for time? Oh, 40 minutes and this is all we've done. Okay. Let's look at the list. Okay. I'm just wondering if I need a window into this area. I kind of feel like I do. Let's try something. Let's choose a roughly middle point. That one, go Shift S, cursor to selected, so that my object that I bring in comes to that point. Shift A, bring in a cube again, scale it, make sure it pushes through. So scale in the Y, so it's big enough to punch a hole through. And yeah, the mouse is sticking and it's making me jump all around. Set the origin of geometry. Oh, it is, eh? Oh, I've got this. Go back to median point, eh? Don't forget that, like I just did. Bring that over. Let's make a couple smaller ones though. All right, let's do it like that. That, and let's round these edges. Now I haven't always been doing apply scale. And sometimes you need to, and sometimes you don't. Control B. Let's see if I do. No, I don't. Round this a bit, and let's put it out here maybe. And let's just do another one. Shift D. Bring it here, and let's just join these together in one object and do a Boolean with those. I don't know why I wanted to, but there's my floor. Boolean difference. These guys, apply, hide, and there are my holes. Yeah, I think I am going to try to bevel them if I can. Now I get these lines selected as well, so I'm going to deselect them. And sometimes you can, and sometimes you can't. Let's try deselecting them. Okay, I'm gonna go on the other side as well. Okay, and I'm holding down Shift as I'm deselecting them, or as I'm selecting them again. That essentially deselects them. So got all that selected and all that, and I'm gonna cross my fingers. Control B, pull back. Oh, not too much. Not too much. Yeah, the mouse is not working too well. Let's put one segment and see if I can come back there. Right about there. Okay, rounded, looks good. I'm going to bring back Alt H, unhide those, and I'm going to compress them, scale them in the Y. Small. There they go. Just like about that. Okay. And leave them in for now and decide if I want to get rid of them later. You know what? I think I will get rid of them right now. Change my mind. That's the room. Those are those. Delete them. Okay. This one I'll leave though for now. Wow. That's my storage room. It's like high security. That's for darn sure. Okay, yeah, I'm tired of these mouths. I might try to clean things up here so it stops sticking. So I'm gonna pause for a second here. Okay, switch my mouse pad and hopefully that's gonna help. So I've got the list of items, my models that I want for the hospital again. And I don't know, I'm just thinking maybe I might try this. Syncs with the faucet, the pipe, and the mirror. So yeah, I think I'm gonna switch to that, and we'll see. I was thinking that the sinks would go, I don't know, maybe I'll put them along this wall. I'm not sure. But we're going to go ahead and try to build something. Not sure how I'm going to do this. I'm just going to switch to another layer. Let's go front view, Shift S, cursor to center, just to start it off. And I guess I'm going to build some kind of a sink. So I'll use a cube, I guess. Scale in the X, make it a bit longer. And I'm going to scale all this down soon. Inset. Scale on the Y a little bit. Heat extrude down. Wireframe so we can see where we're at. Like that. Oh. Edit mode. Edge. That edge. That edge. This one. And this one. Control B. Now, the reason I ended up doing this is I can bevel the vertical edges and then the horizontal edges. It works well. The other way around does not. So Control B. We'll try this. I just need to put one in even. Check it out. It should work better. Did I screw something up? Or did it work? What happened there? Let's get rid of that. Did I lie to you? I wouldn't lie on purpose. Well, let's do this. Maybe I beveled too much. Let's do that. Let's just bevel that outer one. And that's better. Okay, that's fine. Let's go back to the simply formed taper. Very minimal amount. Like that. Shift A, bring in my cylinder once again. Push it down through. Let's go to the wireframe so we can see it. It is going through. Beautiful. Okay, let's select this and add a modifier Boolean. I'm going to bring it on top of my other. They tend to work better when the Boolean is first. Select the cylinder, apply. Let's see if I got it out. Good, I made a hole. Cool. Now, I want to unhide that cylinder and I want to use this cylinder as part of the piping, I believe. And so we're going to scale this in the Z. Okay, and bring it down so I see a indentation. I'm going to bring it down some more, like that. I think I'm actually going to go into it. Oops. No, what am I doing? Yeah, select it, go into it, and actually select the bottom face. And pull it down. Okay, I see that it's not even really in the drain. So I'm going to edge, Shift Alt, grab that edge. I just want to pull it back into the sink. There. Okay. Now I can actually, I'm doing a few things at once. All right, that's okay. Add an edge loop here. E, Shift Z, so I don't expand in the Z direction, just like that. E to extrude and pull it down a bit. And this I can actually pull up more. I think just like that if I wanted to make it look a little bit more like some piping starting there. I don't even know if that's going to be visible, but and I don't even know if this is going to be visible too, but I kind of want to go into this object, and if I can, oh yeah, let's take the taper off for now. I want to bevel this edge if I can. So let's try to look at it. Control B, pull back. 1, 2. Okay, that bevels it, casts a bit of light. I can put my tapering back on. All right. It's the beginning of my sink. Okay, well, I'll deal with the smoothing later, and that we don't have to worry about that right now. Yeah, I forgot to shorten this, didn't I? I could shorten the pipe too. Scale in the Z. Just like that. That's fine. All right. Now, faucet. Pipes, eh? Pipe. Gee, I might not do all the detail. A couple of ways I could do this, I suppose. I'm going to add a torus. My mouse is still sticking. Okay. I'm going to rotate Y90. I want to look end on. I'm going to edit mode, vertex, and wireframe, so I can see everything. Deselect, box select up to the perfectly horizontal vertices and get rid of that. I'm going to box select these ones, go E to extrude and pull them straight down. Looking more like a tap already, right? Or faucet or whatever. These ones, deselect those. I'm going to E to extrude, bring it down a little bit, nice and straight. I'm going to do it again. And then I'm going to, in face select mode, I'm going to grab all of these and I go E to extrude, and I'm going to scale it in the X and the Y, but not the Z. I don't want it going up or down. Scale. So go Shift Z, and I'll bring it out like that. And I don't have to do much more than that with that part, except scaling it and maybe smoothing it. We'll see. I mean, that's a lot nicer. So that would go, you know, something like that. And bring it a lot higher though. So maybe I'll extend this down. I'll just grab the edge and pull it down. I really don't need to do much. Maybe I'll bevel. Shift and Alt, Control B. One. Just one. Why would I do two? I mean, it's too small anyhow. That would be there, and I'll just I'm gonna bring in a cube, but I want to just select an area, cursor selected, right there, so that when I bring in my cube, it's right in that area. And I just want to have this part. I didn't bring it in centered or anything. Scale this in the X. This part would like maybe attach to the wall, and this is where, you know, there'd be more piping. I could, if I really cared, have this attached to the sink, but I don't think it really needs to. What I do need, on the other hand, is I do need the faucets. So I'm now starting to think, if I put that here, scale it in the X, I could just put a dial there. Let's take this edge and bring this edge back like that. And let's round these edges off. Control B. Nope. Now you'll notice that the my selection is just going flush, almost flush with the poly here, and it's not really going into the corner very well. And what happens then, I don't want that, I'm deselect, is go to Object, Apply, Scale, and try it again. And you see the way it cuts into the corner a little bit more, or a lot more really. Just put a couple there, and we'll do the top. Notice I'm doing the verticals and then the horizontals. All right, that seems to work best. Put a couple there as well. So now I'm going to get rounded rectangle there, and I can bring this down a bit more, and I could even attach it to the sink, couldn't I? I wonder how that would look if I did that, and then I did some kind of a knob there. Let's smooth this a bit. Okay, and if you get that weird effect, you can just bring in an edge loop here, pull it down, that'll correct that. All right, so far so good. I don't know about this, but so I need a handle of some sort to turn the water on and off. Again, very, very small details, but so I don't know what I'm going to do. What I'll do first, though, is I will select this face and go Shift S, cursor selected, and I'm going to bring in a cylinder. I guess I'm going to bring in a cylinder, scale it down, move it over a bit. I'm going to make some kind of a tap out of this, but I don't want to make it too high poly. Scale it in Z. How about this? How about this? Grab this face, inset to pull it in, E to extrude, and pull it down. So contacts there. And then this would just be like a dial. It's probably not the best thing to have in an operating room, and I could do two of them. But what I would do is I would do, can I do this? In face select mode, Shift and Alt there, and I get the whole row of polys, but I don't want that. Can I use checker deselect? All right, I haven't for a while, but I'm actually not ready to do that. There's something else I want to do. All right, so I'll do that first and I'll show you. I'm going to put two edge loops, and I'm going to go scale in the Z, and that's going to move them equally up and down. I think I want to do this. Yeah, just so I don't have my modifications going to the top or the bottom. Here, I'll show you what I mean. Go into face select mode and select the whole row. Try checker deselect, and you get every other poly with a bit of space, but also they don't go right up to the top or the bottom. So whatever I do now will be, restricted to this area. And what I want to do is I want to extrude individual, and I want to pull down, and that will push these things out like this. Okay, so I'm going to do something like that. Very weird tap. And then before I lose the selection, I'm going to go Control B, and I'm going to pull back and round my mouse up one and see how that bevel worked. And yikes, it's a lot of polys for that. That thing's a bit too high. I'm going to do that. I think if I had my way, I would do another design on top. I'd do more to it, bring it in, maybe scale it in, and then I'd inset again, and I'd bring it up, and I'd double it like that, and I would grab this edge as well, and I'd bevel it, and probably this edge as well, and then I just, my poly count would be getting blown just on this one little thing, but I could do something like that and then smooth it, and then I could adjust the smoothing angle, try 45, and it would look okay. As soon as I join it though to something else, it's going to be changed. But what if that was there and I did another one? Would I really waste that many polys? Because I'm going to be arraying these. I don't know. Yeah, I probably would. I probably would do that. Alright, so I got that. See, I don't like the inside of that sink yet. Really? Yeah. No, I'm not. No one's going to see it. No one is looking inside my sink, so okay. This, I'm going to do some work on this right off the bat. I'm going to bevel this edge. Now, you notice how it is going horizontally. I am not getting a bevel on this region, only this. I'm going to remove that. I need to do Object, Apply apply scale, and I forget if I've rotated this or not. See, now it's up on the vertical as well. 1, 2. It's probably too many for under the sink. All right, this looks a little bit better. Okay, so now I need to figure out. I think the sink is too big as well for that faucet. Can I take this and this and just globally scale it and bring it up? And maybe I'll bring it back like this. Oops. Does that look right? Looks all right to me. I mean, you know, from a distance. It does look actually too, it looks too thick still, too deep. I don't want to make it too short. Now it looks too wide for its depth. No, well, I'm going to leave it. Piping. Multiple ways of doing this. Let's try this way. Select this face and go Shift S, cursor to select it. Shift A, bring in a plane. Edit mode. Vertex. Merge at center. I got one vertex right there. I'm in edit mode and I have one vertex right in the center there. Now, heat extrude, bring it down. Created like a line. There's the back. Heat extrude, pull it straight back into the wall. That's all I want. Curved pipe like that. Unless you want to get fancy. You could get fancy. And you could do, this looks stupid just to show you getting fancy. Heat extrude that way, heat extrude that way into the wall. Now that's actually too much. I think I need to take this stuff and bring it back a little bit under here for it to go into the wall. All right, let's try that. I'm going to select it all, Control B, as if I'm going to bevel, press left mouse button to accept. F6 brings up this dialog, this bevel dialog box. Choose vertex only, choose a number of segments and start scaling this up. And it curves like that. Okay? So you can draw your pipe in any position you want and still get a nice curved pipe. But we're not done yet. So now, back into object mode and I see my curved pipe. I don't know why I would go like that. We're going to convert this to, where am I? Am I doing it wrong? Curve, it is a curve. Sorry, on the curve, go to full, bring up the depth and the resolution a bit. Okay, bring up the depth. Now, how deep do I want this to be? Pretty deep. I want it to be like that. And I can adjust all this if I want. Okay, and I can smooth this, all that. Okay, so I don't care right now. So that's good. That's it full. Okay, I'm gonna convert this to a mesh and smooth it. Bang. There's my pipe. Okay. At that point, I could smooth this, and let's fix that. Let's throw in an edge loop right here, there, and here. And I don't know, I think I already had one on the other. I get that. Let's pretend that's good enough. Do I want to scale this? No, not like that. No, I don't. No, that's good enough. Now, hopefully this is going to go into the wall. So there's my pipe. Now, this part, because I smoothed it, so close that. Let's hide that, and yeah, I'm going to bring I just extruded it, added another face. So how am I doing? Not too bad, I hope. Now, can I have this pipe attached to that other pipe? Would that be ridiculous from a plumbing point of view? Yes. Okay, not quite, eh? Okay, it doesn't even really matter. Yeah, I don't care. I'm just gonna have that go down to the ground. It's gonna go down to the ground probably. I can adjust that in a bit. I am almost ready. I'm gonna start joining things together. Take this and this and this and this and this. I'm going to join them, and that's going to affect my smoothing. I'll worry about that later. And this, join. So, do I have everything? Yes, I do. Okay, smoothing looks okay still. Okay, fine. Yeah, I didn't taper this, did I? Let's undo that. Okay, let's have a look at this. Let's apply the taper first. Is it tapered? Yeah. But I didn't taper everything. Still have everything? No. Yeah, okay, it's just this. Good enough. There we go. Okay, so I can now actually move this back to the hospital room. And I can also Shift S, cursor back to the center. Okay. As you can see, it's quite large, so let's scale it all down. And zoom in. That's going to go to the wall, and I think they're still too large. Let's scale it down a bit more. Just put it so that that one goes to the ground, and this does go into the wall. That's fine like that. Let me just see. What I had wanted to do, that might be too low to the ground. We'll see. I want to try though an array, or have maybe 3 or 4 of these sinks along here. Let's see. Come through the door. Yeah, they look totally too big for humans. That looks much better. You know, if you imagine a human coming in through this door, still big sinks. That kind of thing. It's a lot of polys for such a small detail. And what we'll do is we'll go in here, and I'll grab this one, and I'll still bring it to the floor. But I think, you know what? I'll add an edge loop, and I'll just make it expand a little bit so it looks a bit more reasonable. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Where am I? Solid. Okay, scale shift Z. We'll do that kind of thing. I'll put another edge loop here. Bring it down. Deal with shading issues when it's smooth. And actually, I don't need it that extreme. It's, oh geez, I wasn't going to do that. I was going to smooth it down, but I actually like that. Okay, it'll be like that. Let's go into the ground, and that part goes into the wall. Right. Let's say a go Y. There, it's in the wall. It's in the wall. Okay, but I still need, and I can just put them on the wall. I still want to have a mirror, so I'm going to turn off the array, and I'm going to move this back to here. Zoom in on it. There is one more thing. I'm going to bring the cursor just right to that whole thing. Shift A, I'll just do a plane, rotate X 90. I'll scale it. Okay, scale it in the X, scale it in the Z. Oh, still in the X, scale in the Z. And go into edit mode, E to extrude, bring it out a bit. Let's go ahead and bevel these edges here. Not that one. That one. That one. And that one. And that one. Okay, now because I used F6 before. Let's get out of that. Oops. What did I do? Oh, I'm going back to my other layer. My bevel is set. If I go Control B, if I accept and hit F6, I can bring this back down to 1. Okay, which is what I wanted to do. And then I deselect that, go back, and now my bevel is set at 1 again. So if you use that, you may have to remember that. I'm going to bevel, I don't really need to bevel the back, but I will anyhow, with 1. And then I will inset this a little bit. It'll kind of look like a mirror, I guess. E, and I'll just bring it back just a little bit. And that's probably fine, even though I have a bit of a sharp edge there. I think that's okay. You know, it'll look like a mirror that way. So I can move this. Let's actually do it this way. I'll make it easier on myself before I join it. Let's have a look at that. So what about just like that? Okay, I think maybe it should be higher than the sink, or even just maybe like that. So I'm going to join those, and now when I show my array, they'll all have the mirror. Okay, so there's a lot of work for those sinks, and really they're too big. It's just ridiculous. Well, it's okay. It's done now. It's fine. Just some big sinks. Yeah, I might want that so you can look through and see the sinks. I don't know though. Okay, so that's what I got so far. I'll take a quick break and I'll be right back.